On the line with us now from Ontario, Canada, Tracy Lynn. Tracy Lynn covers the NFL. And today she had to cover the Hamilton Tiger Cats. So first of all, Trace, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Got to tell you a quick story about Dane Evans, the quarterback. Okay. Dane, Oklahoma kid, goes to Tulsa, comes to the Manning Passing Academy. The year he's there, he comes in about 25 minutes after everybody's there. He's in a crew that's way on the back end of Nicholls State University, so he comes there. This poor guy sat there basically for a half an hour. No one interviewed him. They had about 25 people there, different quarterbacks from college football. I finished up my last interview. I turned, and he's standing up, so I was able to grab him. And he told me his story about growing up in Oklahoma. He wanted to play for the Boomer Sooners. That didn't happen. And then having that career at Tulsa, and then today has a big game for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
It was an amazing day in Hamilton. I got to tell you, it was. The game started off a little slow. I was a little worried, but they picked it up, and it was your classic game of football. It was, phenomenal players, great plays, and a lot of testosterone on that field.
Now, when you're looking at great plays in this football in general, how receptive would Canada, or I should say Toronto, because that's like the New York City of Canada, to have an NFL franchise? Because I always said
I think
that
eventually they're going to get one.
But
I really do.
Because I think that'd be a claim to fame for the NFL, feathering their cap. They could say the international by having a team in Toronto. Because I don't know, London, yes, but it's kind of the logistics of that. But Toronto, from a logistics standpoint, would be a lot easier than London. Maybe Mexico City, but it just seems like, I know they want to keep the Bills in Buffalo, but somehow I think Toronto would be a great NFL city.
It will be a great city. I'm just not sure it's going to bring the money in or even the people in the seats. Like, it's always great for those one-offs that we have, but I'm not sure. But, I mean, hey, if we do get one, you're going to have your advocates out there. I'll be at every game. And I think it'll be something new for Canadians as well. It's like, why do we don't need to cross the border anymore? So it's hard to say if it's going to work or not. I'm on the fence on that one.
One of the things is, Trace, that there's a lot of heritage, so to speak, with people from Canada that have migrated to Louisiana. How much interest is there? I know you're in Ontario, in the New Orleans Saints, the Who Dat Nation, out in your area that you cover.
We have so many fans here in Canada, and I'm Hamilton, Toronto's right next door. See, it all comes down to you pick your team, you support your team, and every Sunday, every Monday, or Thursday, whenever the game is on, you put the gear on and you sit down and you watch it. So as far as the ratio, it is such a big mix of fans and different teams here.
Is it more New York-based, Jets, Giants, Buffalo Bills?
I want to say it's probably more Bills, but again, you can run into someone on the street and they're a Dolphins fan, or they're a 49ers fan. They're a Saints fan. It's such a wide range of fans here when it comes to the NFL. So I can't say that it's just based on because we're just next door to Buffalo that they're all Bills fans.
Well, that had to be embarrassment for the NFL, and I guess just playing a game across the border. When you had a preseason game, you had to play on 80 yards of field. I mean, how can this day and age, how can you let that happen? It's almost the same thing what happened in Mexico City when they had to change the venue because the field wasn't up to par.
It's not like it happened overnight. I mean,
Right.
come on, you know that you're going to be playing there.
Got to move the goalposts. Hello.
That's the thing that's strange about all of that.
Sometimes we're a little slow to jump on the bus. I don't know what to say on that.
You've got to see Drew Brees play, and man, his talents are just so good as a player. The thought and the talk of Drew Brees out in Canada and what type of football player and what type of impact he's made in this league.
Obviously, he has his impact. I mean, this is supposed to be his year. Everyone's saying this is going to be Drew Brees' year. He's 40. He just turned 40. This is where he's going to break out and he's going to show everyone. It's hard to say which way it's going to go, right? Because still, we're only a few days away from the season.
So what is your take when you look at expanding the playoffs or length of season? When the talk between the NFL Players Association and the owners, do you go to 18 games? Do you shorten the preseason? Or do you extend the playoffs? What is your take as far as what you think is going to occur and maybe how they do it in Canadian football that's a winning formula?
Tracy, one of the things is weather games. And I'm wondering if that's part of it too. Man, we've seen some of these Canadian football championships games, and I mean, it's been some unbelievable weather games, snow-wise, ice, everything else. Playing those games in late December and January out in Canada?
Yeah, you're in for a mixed bag of weather. You don't know what you're going to get. I mean, it just kind of, maybe it's a clutch for the players to say I didn't play very well because of the snow or because it was raining. The ball slipped out of my hands. As far as the season, guess what? I'm all for having a longer NFL season because it's been a long couple months waiting for the season to start.
I think, Tracy, I think the thing's going to be is they're going to have to figure out a way to kill this preseason 4 games. But the owners are getting full payment like a regular season game for a preseason game. They're not going to want to give that up. And I think the players' deal is, man, hey, 16 games is way too long. I really believe what's going to come to an agreement is an extension and adding teams into the playoffs similar to the NBA. I think that's what's going to happen, that they're going to come to that agreement. Now, I don't know how they're going to recoup preseason money, but I do believe that in the new collective bargaining agreement is going to be the deal. I think that they're going to try to extend the playoffs, but only go 16 games in the regular season.
Well, the 2 additional playoff games is going to be enticing to the networks simply because, that's going to be part of the negotiation. TV rights deals, the more money and more meaningful games that can sell more advertising dollars.
Yeah, because no matter where you're selling it, if it's in the United States or Canada, it sells. And NFL football, just like in the States, I'm sure, Tracy, is big business also in Canada.
Oh, absolutely. It's whatever's going to bring in the money, right? So if it's going to be a game and we're going to extend, I mean, you got to think of it from the owners and people involved. I mean, the longer that it goes, it's more money. It's more money because an advertiser is going to jump on board and pay whatever it is to get their product in front of those players, in front of the fans.
Is the excitement for the start of the NFL season big in Ontario for the NFL, for the start of the season?
Absolutely. I'm taking the day off work just so I can prep for Thursday night.
I got you. Trace, listen, thanks so much. We appreciate your time. And, it's crazy. But I do think that in our lifetime, and I think it'll be quickly, that the expansion of the NFL, I think they'll go to 2 more teams. And I think Toronto gets one. And you brought up an interesting thought about how well it would be supported in Canada. So that's something I really hadn't thought of in that spot. But you're talking about in close proximity when you're talking about Jets, Giants, Buffalo, and Toronto. You might have a point there.
What can I say? I kind of know a little bit about football here, right?
You got it, man. Thanks so much, Tracy.
Appreciate
it. Thank you. Tracy Lynn, who covers the NFL out in Ontario.